By now, you may have heard about the Kyrie Irving news. Kyrie, as I will call him from here on out, is a professional basketball player who plays in the NBA for the Brooklyn Nets. He recently tweeted out a link to an anti-Semitic documentary drawing condemnation from many people in all walks of life. But I'm wondering, what's the big deal? So let's talk about it, because it's time for Rise with Rob. Kyrie's tweet comes on the heels of artist Kanye West, if you remember, making similar anti-Semitic remarks on social media in the last couple of weeks. The documentary that Kyrie posted is called From Hebrew to Negro, Wake Up Black America. And it's based on a 2015 book of the same title, which advocates many of the central tenets of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, which believes that Black people and not the Jews are the true descendants of biblical Israelites. I'm not going to get into the rightness or the wrongness of such claims by the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, as that's not the purpose of my video today. While I won't be dealing with the Black Hebrew movement, I do think it would be wise for us to look at the incident and see if there's any things we can learn from Kyrie and Kanye's actions. First of all, I think we could learn to think before we hit the send button. Because friends, let me make it clear. Once you hit send, it's said and done. Once you hit send, there's no way to get it back. So friends, if you get nothing out of this, please think before you hit the send button. Whether you're on TikTok or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, think before you hit send. Are you following me so far? Well, here goes. Things that I think we can learn from Kyrie Irving. First of all, I believe we can learn from Kyrie Irving what my grandmother and my mother tried to teach their families. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one who's ever heard this. And it's real simple. That is, and please pardon my English, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. You know, it's sad today, but social media has taught us that we have to respond, that we have to say something, that we have to have an opinion, that we must say something. And I don't know how we got here, but we're here. But let's be honest, friends, for most of us, not all, but far more of us than we are willing to admit, the temptation to give somebody a piece of my mind or to share some supposed valuable information, like we're trying to help somebody else, is too great a temptation for some of us. And I am learning that you do not have to respond to everything. You don't have to respond to everything you're baited into. And friends, if you find yourself getting ready to put your foot in your mouth, or in some cases, your finger with the send button, I would suggest that you say a prayer. The Bible says, set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the doors of my lip. And as I said already, not just our mouths, but in this day and age, that might be some good advice for my send finger too. Number one, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. Proverbs 21 verse 23 says, whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from trouble. And the reality is that Kyrie, if he would have listened to that advice, or if he would have taken that advice, he might not be in the trouble that he's in today. The second thing I think we can learn from this Kyrie incident is that if you say something that hurts or offends someone else, then be humble enough to go and apologize. If you watch the interview carefully, when they asked Kyrie why he posted the link on his account, this is what he said. He said that his name translated into Yahweh in the Hebrew. So he was just typing in Yahweh and that link showed up. So he just posted it. He was then asked if he knew that the movie he posted the link to had any anti-Semitic sentiments. And he goes on to say, this is 2022. Things like that are posted all the time. I don't understand why we're making such a big deal out of it. In fact, he goes on to defend himself by saying he didn't make the movie, so he's not the racist. His question was, why is Amazon not being questioned instead of me? They posted the movie. I just shared it. Then he proceeds to get into a heated discussion with several reporters, which led us to another cultural divide. Because what happened is people thought us taking sides as to the rightness or the wrongness of the sentiments in the movie. And it caused people to take stands on one side or the other, and you guessed it, most of the time along racial lines. which is why I will not discuss the dynamics or the semantics concerning the issue of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. I just want to help us to get to the place of healing and restoration, a place many of us say that we want to go, but we never take the hard, necessary steps to get us there. Now, this is my opinion and what I think should have happened. I think that Kyrie should have just acknowledged that he didn't know it, but he offended somebody. And when he found out that he did offend somebody, he should have just apologized and moved on. Our country doesn't need more division. We need healing and reconciliation. And I'm not saying we shouldn't talk about it, but healing and reconciliation can never happen as long as we just keep blaming each other. And if we get offended when we're challenged to acknowledge that maybe we made a mistake, maybe that wasn't so smart, because I know it's hard to admit when we're wrong. And it's even harder to apologize when you think you didn't do anything wrong. But my Bible says in Proverbs 22 verse 4, by humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Friends, whenever we start to defend ourselves, when we are told that we offended someone, instead of taking a step back and considering what others are saying, then we usually are headed for trouble. And it simply just needs for you and I to humble ourselves. Again, we're told in Proverbs 18:12, before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before honor is humility. Once again, please understand that I'm not taking sides on the issue of right or wrong of that issue at hand. What I want to do is focus on just the fact that if what we say offends someone else or hurts someone else, we need to learn to humble ourselves and apologize. Even if all we can say is, well, I didn't know what I said was offensive to you. Please forgive me for not knowing that. My intention was not to hurt anyone. So the second lesson I think we can learn is that if what we say or do, even if it's not intentional, if it hurts or offends someone, then we ought to be humble enough to apologize. And you know what I think? Some of us listening right now know that there's somebody who needs to hear from us an apology. And maybe there's no better time than right after you finish viewing this video that you go and contact that person and go ahead and clear the air. If you want me to pray for strength so that you might be able to do that, then just leave a comment in the comment section below and just tell me, Rob, can you please pray for me? Understand this and listen to me carefully. I'll be glad to pray for you. And please know that you don't have to tell me the details. You don't have to tell me who it is. You don't have to tell me the offense. You and that person and God already know all of the details. And that's all that matters. I just want to pray for your strength to go and just apologize or go fix the relationship. Now, if what you said or did was public, then a public apology might be warranted. But again, that's for you to decide. I can't tell you what to do. The only thing I can tell you to do is that if you have offended somebody, perhaps it'd be a good thing to go and apologize. And if you want strength, I'll be glad to pray for you. Just post it in the comments and I'll be praying for you. Again, until the next time, this has been Rob with Rise with Rob. God bless you, and I'm praying for you.